right. Hey, everyone. My name is Shawn Slattery. I'm here with UNLV School of Medicine. I'm a first-year medical student. I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves as well.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Ryland McDermott, also a first year at UNLV School of Medicine.
Hello, my name is Marc Ringor. I am also a first year medical student at the UNLV School of Medicine.
And yeah, so we're here to give a little presentation about possible careers in healthcare.
And yeah, I hope a lot of you are interested. Are interested in careers in healthcare, and I hope this presentation shows you that there are many different fields in healthcare that you can be involved in, and it's a really cool field to be involved in. And some of the careers that we're going to be talking about, I know it seems like a lot. There's going to be 20 of them, but stick with us, and I hope some of them stand out as very interesting to you. But let's jump in. So our first one is going to be physician. We all might be a little bit biased, but this is going to be a very cool career to do, and all three of us are on track to become physicians hopefully soon, but we're in it for the long haul. To start off, physicians identify, treat, and manage medical conditions. They're more of the leader of the healthcare team, and they work with a bunch of different healthcare professions, as you'll see in this video. And so it's a very diverse job, and you can go into any field of healthcare that you want to go into. So if you want to work with kids, you could become a pediatrician. If you want to work with hearts only, you could become a cardiologist. And it's totally up to you which field you want to work into. But the education requirements, you're going to need a high school diploma, 4-year bachelor degree, and then you'll go into medical school for 4 years. And then after that, we do a training in that specific field, whether it's pediatrics or cardiology, for about at least 3 years, and sometimes it can take up to 10. But if you're passionate about it, that time flies by. Education in Nevada, we have the UNLV School of Medicine, and then we also have Toro and UNR up in Reno. And for salary, you'll see pay ranges starting at $150 up to $500 plus.
All right, our next career we're going to talk about are physician assistants. Now, a physician assistant does a lot of this same work that a doctor will do, but often does it under their supervision. In terms of schooling, you'll often experience less years in school, but as a physician assistant, you'll have more of an opportunity to shift from field to field. So earlier we talked about how as a physician, you can become a pediatrician, you can go into subspecialties like cardiology or endocrinology, but as a physician, you're somewhat locked into that subspecialty, whereas physician assistants will be able to move a lot more easily from specialty to specialty. In terms of the education requirements, you'll need a bachelor's degree. You may also need a master's degree as well. One other requirement is that you have a lot of clinical experience as well prior to applying to a physician assistant program. The program length, like I said earlier, was shorter than a regular medical school program at 2 to 3 years. One of the institutions in Las Vegas that offers this program is Toro University, and the average salary in Nevada for a physician assistant is between $90,000 to $120,000.
Awesome. So now on to CNA. So CNAs work under the supervision of a registered nurse to help take care of patients. So their roles include assisting patients with basic living tasks like using the restroom, eating, things like that. They also help the nurses out by taking vital signs, making sure the workspace is clean, and facilitating patient care. So CNA is a great intro job to healthcare. you'll see there's a very low requirement to enter into it, and so it's a good kind of feeler job to see if healthcare is something you kind of want to delve into deeper. So on to education. So you'll need your GED or high school diploma to get into a program. And program length varies. It's typically shorter. It's about 4 to 6 months. And there's tons of opportunities. So you can see here, you can do it at CSN, the Charleston campus, Milan Institute, St. Therese Learning Institute, a Standards of Excellence Academy, and UNLV. And with there's been a huge rise in online schooling as well. And the average salary in Nevada is about $28,000 to $40,000.
Great, and then next we'll talk about medical assistants. Many of you have probably encountered a medical assistant, but may have not known it. They're going to be the people that take you back into the patient room for the physician to come see you. They also play a vital role in taking vitals. That was ironic. They also update files and medical records, fill out insurance forms, and they schedule appointments for the patients, and they really keep the office in check, which is really nice. Education required, high school diploma or GED, just like a CNA. And then some form of post-secondary education is preferred but not required. The program length can be anywhere from 9 months to 2 years, a little bit on the shorter side. And then education opportunities, we got Northwest Career College, Las Vegas Medical Assistant School, St. Therese Learning Institute, Medical Skills for Life Institute, and Prima Medical Institute as well. So a lot of opportunities here in the Valley. Pay range starting at 32 grand, it can even go up to 43 grand.
All right. Next career we're going to talk about are pharmacy technicians. So they are essentially the ones who help the pharmacist in the pharmacy with completing their tasks. This can include filling prescriptions, also educating patients on how to take those prescriptions, along with other tasks in the pharmacy itself. In order to become a pharmacy tech, some of the education requirements include a high school diploma as well as a GED. This is a great career to think about going into in case you wish to go into the medical field. It's another great feeler for whether or not medicine is something that you want to go into after high school. The program length for institutions that offer a pharmacy tech program usually is about 1 to 2 years, at which case at the end of it, you'll take a certificate exam. Some institutions in Vegas that offer this program include Pima Medical Institute, Northwest Career College, and Milan Institute. The pay range for pharmacy tech in the city and in Nevada goes from $32,000 to $40,000 a year.
All right, and now on to pharmacist. So pharmacists prepare medications by reviewing and interpreting physician orders, and then detecting therapeutic incompatibility, so like side effects of medication that would be unwanted. They dispense medications by compounding, packaging, and labeling the pharmaceuticals, and they control the medications by monitoring drug therapies, advising interventions, and also supervising pharmacy technicians. So a very important kind of like safeguard for us as physicians and just in general in the healthcare world. And yeah, if you're dead set on becoming a pharmacist out of high school, it's nice because some universities offer a 6-year combined undergrad PharmD program. And this helps to kind of set you on a fast track to getting your degree. So yeah, education required, high school diploma, and then you also need a bachelor's degree to get into pharmacy school. And then you have the program, the actual pharmacy school. It's about 3 to 4 years, or if you do that kind of fast tracked, you can knock out undergrad and your pharmacy degree in about 6 years. And then there's education opportunities in Reno, CSN, and Roseman. And the average salary you got is about $124,000 to $158,000.
And then next we're going to go on to radiology technician, or rad tech for short. Their main responsibility is going to be to perform x-rays, CTs, MRIs, ultrasounds, mammograms. So a lot of radiology driven tests that can help the other healthcare workers make a diagnosis, and they can aid in making that diagnosis as well. So if someone comes into the emergency department and they fractured a bone, what we'll have them do is the radiology technician will take them back, get a scan, and that's going to make a big help into determining what the next steps are in their treatment plan. Some education requirements can be high school diploma or GED. Program length 2 to 4 years, and it can typically be seen with a bachelor's program in the college. And then education opportunities, UNLV has a great program, and so does PIMA. And pay range is going to be anywhere from $56,000 to $68,000.
All right, next off, we have ultrasound technicians. They are similar to radiology technicians in that they ultimately help healthcare professionals like doctors in diagnosing patients, thereby helping them to figure out next steps in terms of the patient's treatment. With ultrasound techs, you often know them because they help pregnant women in visualizing their babies. But some other things they do involve imaging other organs within a patient, thereby ultimately helping and diagnose that patient if there's a particular organ or multiple organs that are in trouble. In terms of education requirement, you'll need at least a high school diploma or GED. The program length to become an ultrasound technician lasts about 2 years. Some education opportunities involve diagnostic medical sonography programs at CSN. And the salary for an ultrasound tech is about $71,000 in Nevada.
All right, so on to EMT. So I'm a little biased. I did this for about 4.5 years, 5 years, as a nice little intro job. So it's very similar to CNA. There's a low barrier to entry, and it's good to see if like emergency medicine or a career in healthcare is for you. So EMTs are the people who respond to emergencies. They're typically partnered with a paramedic. But there's also EMT-only crews, and these crews are responsible for facilitating transport of patients from like home to a doctor's appointment or to dialysis, things like that. These transports are typically like stable patients who just need a little more care than a normal person. And then, so it's a very flexible career. Me specifically as an EMT, and I started off working for an ambulance company to facilitate transport for patients. And then I was able to move into an ER where I helped take care of more acute patients. And this job played a huge role in me getting into medical school. All right, so on to educational requirements. So you typically have to be about 18 years old. You'll need your high school diploma, and you need CPR certification, but usually that's included with your EMT basic program. The program length is about 1 to 2 years. EMT certification requires completion of a training course and completion of both a knowledge and skills exam. You have a first level, it's called the EMT basic, and then you have the second level, which is EMT advanced. So a little more experience, a little more training with the advanced level. You have education opportunities at CSN, also with various private ambulance companies around the Las Vegas area. You have community ambulance, and then you also have AMR, or American Medical Response. And the average salary, it ranges from about $21,000 to about $70,000 here in Las Vegas.
And then on to paramedics. I know it can seem like an EMT and paramedic are a very similar job. Essentially, a paramedic is just a step up from EMT, and that's through becoming an advanced EMT. But they do a lot of the same stuff as an EMT. However, they provide more life-sustaining procedures, and they can give emergency medications. But it's a very stimulating job, a lot of moving parts when responding to emergency calls and having to stabilize patients, but it's a very exciting job. As far as education required, like I said before, it's going to be required to have an advanced EMT. It's going to be typically a 2-year course in training along with prerequisites, and then education opportunities involve CSN, community ambulance, and American Medical Response. And then you'll see their salary typically a little bit higher than EMT due to the extra training, with salary at $24,000 up to about $72,000 in Nevada.
All right, moving on to registered nurses. I have a lot of family who are registered nurses, and they are very much an integral part of the healthcare team. You find them in many places, not just in hospitals, but also in clinics. You can also see them working in places like medical helicopters as well as ambulances. And they're often there to work with doctors in order to help carry out a patient's medical treatment. This can involve giving patients their medications, monitoring their vital signs, observing them over time, as well as communicating any important changes in a patient's vitals or in their overall status to a doctor or any other member of the healthcare team. In terms of education requirements, you'll need a high school diploma. You'll also need to enter into a nursing program, which can last anywhere from 2 to 4 years. Some institutions in Nevada that offer this program include UNLV, CSN, NSC, as well as Roseman and Toro. And the average salary for a registered nurse is around $88,380 a year.
All right, on to nurse practitioners. So a nurse practitioner is like a step up from a registered nurse. Typically, these guys will work for a year or two or longer, get some experience under their belt, and then apply to a nurse practitioner program. So NPs are providers who can see patients on their own. They work under doctors and can prescribe medications, diagnose patients, and work in many different specialties, which is nice. Mark was stating earlier with the PA, they kind of have similar flexible horizontal movement within specialties, which is nice. You're not stuck in a specialty if you don't like it or something like that. NPs can also assist doctors in surgeries and clinics, and the state of Nevada has independent practice, and as such, they can open and run their own practices. So on to education requirements. You need your bachelor's in nursing. Like I was mentioning, you typically need about a year or two experience as well. For education opportunities, you have the UNLV School of Nursing, and you also have Roseman University of Health Sciences. The average salary here is $80,000 to $150,000, and the program length is about 2 to 3 years.
And then next we'll talk about speech language pathologists. Personally, I didn't even know about this healthcare opportunity, but I think it's a very important one as well. These definitely play their role in helping patients become better and fix anything that they need help with. But with speech pathologists, they're mainly going to work to correct speech problems, such as stuttering, mispronouncing words, and slurred speech, such as after a stroke, which can be very difficult to help with, but thank gosh we have speech pathologists. They can also help with swallowing and eating problems as well. As far as education requirements, typically just need a bachelor's degree, and then you'll apply for programs, and these can be a couple years long, just with a master's or doctoral degree from an accredited institution. You'll need to get 300 hours of supervised practice, and then you're going to have to pass a speech language pathology exam. But then some education opportunities in Nevada include Nevada State College. There's not a lot of opportunities as others, but we do still have Nevada State. And then pay range in Nevada is going to be anywhere from $66,000 to $80,000.
All right, next we have physical therapy assistants. They essentially help a physical therapist in treating patients who have any painful or mobilizing injury they experience. So think about anyone who was in a car accident or anybody who went through a long-term surgery who will need help with physical therapy in order to regain some possible physical abilities that they lost during that period. In terms of education requirements, you'll need to attend both high school and college. The program length in order to become a physical therapy assistant lasts about 2 years. Some opportunities in Vegas as well as in Nevada that offer this program include CSN, Carrington College, and Pima Medical Institute. And the pay range for a physical therapy assistant in Nevada is from $55,000 to $63,000 a year.
All right, and on to physical therapists. So again, just kind of like a step up from physical therapy assistant. So physical therapists are like kind of like the movement experts. They help improve quality of life through prescribed exercise, hands-on care, and patient education. They work with patients who have injuries, possibly from a trauma, a car accident, like Marc was saying, but they also work with patients who have chronic neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's, or just patients recovering from strokes to help them get up and moving and back to normal life. Their PTs are extremely special because they work with patients to get them back on track to a better and healthier life, or something as simple as just getting them back on track to regain their independence. So for education requirements, you'll need your high school diploma and a bachelor's degree. And then the program length is typically about 3 to 6 years. Here in Las Vegas, we have UNLV Physical Therapy School, and the average salary here is about $77,000 to $110,000.
And then next we'll get into some teeth. So we're going to talk about dental hygienists. Now, personally, I thought everybody in the dental office was a dentist. However, that is not the case. We have dental hygienists, which are the people that you're going to see before the dentist. These are going to be responsible for cleaning your teeth before the dentist sees you. They're also going to help educate you on proper oral health regarding brushing, flossing, like we all do. And so they definitely play a vital role. They also will take x-rays that will help the dentist see if there's any problems they need to fix or entertain. Education required, you don't need a high school diploma or an associate's degree of dental hygiene, and that associate's degree is typically going to take about 3 years. And then education opportunities, we have CSN, which is nice, and then Pima as well. And then for salary in Nevada, it could be anywhere from $57,000 to $95,000.
All right, next we have dentists. Like Ryland, I thought that all people in a dental office were dentists. Essentially, a dentist is a doctor of the oral cavity, and like a dental hygienist, they mainly work with teeth. They help mainly to study, diagnose, prevent, and treat any diseases or disorders you'll find in the oral cavity. And like a medical doctor, you can specialize as a dentist in fields such as anesthesiology, public health, oral surgery, pediatrics, or orthodontics, aka braces. In terms of education requirement, you'll need a high school diploma as well as a 4-year bachelor degree. And the program length in order to enter a Doctor of Medicine degree lasts 3 to 4 years. And one major institution in Nevada that offers this program is the UNLV School of Dental Medicine. The average salary for a dentist in Nevada is around $145,000 to $190,000 a year.
All right, on to podiatrists. So these guys are the doctors of feet. They can do surgery, reset broken bones, prescribe drugs, order lab tests and x-rays, all kind of pertaining towards the feet. And the podiatrists usually work closely with other specialists when a problem affects your feet or lower legs. So on to education required. It's very similar to more of the doctor programs. You need your bachelor's degree, which takes about 4 years. And then the program itself for podiatry school is 4 years. And then you have a 3-year residency training. So there's no opportunities here in Nevada. The closest one is Arizona School of Podiatric Medicine in Glendale, Arizona. And the average salary here in Nevada is about $86,000 to $146,000.
And then next we'll talk about respiratory therapists. These people will work in hospitals and they'll help patients who are having difficulty breathing. So very critically ill patients who can't really breathe on their own. These guys will fortunately be there to help assist and make sure that they are getting the proper air that they need to keep going on. And some education required is going to be high school education or GED, and then you go and get a Bachelor of Applied Science in respiratory science. And then you can have this with an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree as described. And then some education opportunities are CSN and PIMA as well. And then salary, anywhere from $50,000 to about $72,000 a year.
All right, finally, we're going to talk about phlebotomists. This is another great job you can do right out of high school. A phlebotomist basically is responsible for efficiently and accurately performing blood draws and transfusions on blood donors and patients. They also help gather medical testing materials, including needles, sample vials, blood storage bags, and test tubes. In terms of education requirements, you'll need at least a high school diploma or GED. The program length to become a phlebotomist lasts about 4 months. And some local schools that offer this program include CSN, Medical Skills for Life Institute, Northwest Career College, Pima Medical Institute, and Phlebotomy Learning Center of Las Vegas. The pay range for a phlebotomist in Nevada goes from $29,000 to $44,000 a year.
Awesome. So thank you guys so much for bearing with us. We hope you got something from this and maybe kind of piqued your interest towards a certain healthcare field. And if you have any questions, feel more than free to email any of us. Our emails are here. Just some closing things. I'll just say my name and where we're from again. So I'm Shawn Slattery, and we're with UNLV Medspeak.
Perfect. And then, Ryland, thank you so much for listening to our presentation today. And one piece of advice is just to say, if you're interested in something, just go for it. I know there's a lot of time requirement for a lot of these jobs, but if you're interested, the time requirement is priceless.
And again, my name is Mark, and I'm a medical student with UNLV Medspeak. And another piece of advice I have is definitely, if you're interested in going into medicine, try out some of the feeler jobs that we talked about earlier. It'll give you some great exposure to some of the other jobs we also talked about and give you a good sense of where you might want to go in the future and what you feel passionate about in terms of medicine.